Hey everybody, welcome to beautiful Detroit, Michigan, and welcome to something pretty special. That looks like a standard Chrysler 300, right? It's not. That is a new 300C. So Chrysler has brought back a high-performance version of the 300. But rather than calling it an SRT, what they've done is go back to a nameplate of the 1950s and the 1960s. So this is a 6.4-liter Hemi-powered 300 sedan, 485 horsepower, 475 foot-pounds of torque. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all about it. Now, if you want one, they're only building 2,200 of them for North America. 2,000 of them sold in the US, 200 in Canada. Now, it still is rear-wheel drive, so 8-speed automatic. In the back here, a 309 axle ratio, and that is said to propel this car from 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, a quarter mile in 12.4 seconds. You can see, check that out, it's got Brembo brakes. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, I thought I've seen a 6.4-liter Hemi in a Chrysler before, and you'd be right, you have. The 300 SRT, and that died in 2014. So they discontinued that in 2014, but for the 2023 model year, they're bringing back the essence of that car in the 300C. Now let's go ahead, dive into the scary media scrum and talk a little bit more about the interior and what you need to know. So, the 300C, right? Car that debuted in essence back in 1955. That one is way in the crowd of people. We can try to make our way over there eventually. But that car had 300 horsepower when it launched. It quickly rose to 345, and then that continued from like 55 through 65. And then, of course, in 2005, they reintroduced the Chrysler 300 as an all-new vehicle, and then they redid it in 2011, and then in 2014, they killed off the famed SRT with that big 6.4. Although, weirdly, in Australia, they kept building it, just not here in the US. So, it's been 8 years since we've seen a big Hemi in a 300. Let's check out the interior and see what they have done. So, lots and lots and lots of standard Chrysler 300 in here. So check out those giant gauges there, right? So you got analog gauges, you got the digital screen there in the middle. 8.4-inch Uconnect screen as standard. It's got heated seats, it's got ventilated front seats. It's all pretty much standard Chrysler fare, except for the carbon. See that? You got a lot of carbon trim there. There's the rotary dial for the 8-speed automatic found right there in the middle. Got little paddle shifters on the sides of the wheel, and my favorite feature in the middle, heated and cooled cup holders. Pretty fun little tidbit. Now we do have 300C badging there located on the backrest, and then silver stitching along the bolstering of the seats, which is quite nice. But overall, it's a similar interior to probably what you've come to expect out of Chrysler 300s for the last number of years. It's looking a little dated, but that makes sense because this 300C is marking the very end of the Chrysler 300 here in the US. It's going away, guys. Now this vehicle is built in Brampton, Canada, along the Challenger and the Charger, and we know the future for those vehicles are going electric. What's the future of the 300? We don't know yet. They haven't told us. Now let's see if we can be a little cheeky and check out that engine. Not super sure we're allowed to do this, but maybe we can give it a try. Oh yes, look at that. 6.4-liter Hemi, 485 horsepower, 475 foot-pounds of torque. I think I may have just made it onto the news there. But that's what it takes to bring you guys the coolest videos. Now out back we do have a little bit of a deck spoiler. Looks quite nice to finish off the rear end. And then dual tips, so you can see one tip there on the left, one on the right, a little bit of a plastic fascia. This car is only going to be available in 3 colors. So we started with the red one, just checked out the black one. Now let's head over and take a peek at the white model. This is the one that I think looks the best, especially the white contrasted against the black 20-inch wheels. Just looks fantastic. And you can see the red brake calipers poking through at the bottom there, those big Brembo brakes. Now, open the door on this one, and we're going to see the same thing because there is only one configuration of this car. If you want one of the 2,200 coming to North America, you go on to Chrysler.com, you place a deposit, you choose your color, and you choose your color. That's, that's all you can do. So it's colors and then dealer. And then if you're early enough, you can have the opportunity to buy one of these. Now pricing $55,000 before destination, but still, I think that's pretty reasonable. I mean, we're in an age where like Mustangs are often $50,000 plus. So to get a full-size luxury sedan powered by 485 horsepower for 55 grand is pretty good. Now, of course, you've got the massive Chrysler trunk back there, which is built for holding your groceries, of course. Nothing more facetious than groceries. And kind of over there, you can see the lineup of the older models. So right here, of course, is the Hemi C from 2005. This car really was popular. They sold over 1 million of these in this first generation. 5.7 liter Hemi in this model with 340 horsepower. And then this is the car that started it all, the 1955 Chrysler C300. In 56, they went to the name 300C. Now this would have been powered by, I think it was called the Fire Dome Hemi V8. And you can see there the 300. But the idea with these old 50s Chryslers, right, it was the banker sports car. So you'd have a huge, luxurious car with a big squishy interior and a massive Hemi under the hood to do all your cool burnouts that you'd want. Behind all those folks is the 57 model. We can try to get a shot of the fins because these are cool. Now these cars had more horsepower. This would have been somewhere around like 370, 380, all the way up to 390. My favorite part though, the massive fins, and this is what I want to show you. See that? That tricolor 300 emblem? That is, of course, the same style emblem they're using on the new one. So it's reminiscent from like the old 50s cars. But we'll kind of finish this back up next to the 300C. Now I love it. I think it's a great piece of design. I love that they're doing it. It's a fantastic thing to see a return to the giant Hemis from 2014. I also think it's a little weird they're not calling them SRT anymore. I know SRT brand has had some talk about being on the way out, but you know, it doesn't matter because it still is a massive Hemi-powered Chrysler with big, squishy loungers, and you just know it's going to be great on the road for long-distance cruising. So I can't wait to get my hands on this in the real world, see what it's like. We'll finish outside here at the Spirit of Detroit Park in beautiful Detroit, Michigan, with the red one. This is the one I would get. It's this beautiful, deep velvet red. It just looks fantastic. With the black wheels, it's really nice. And once again, guys, if you want to be one of the 2,200 to have the opportunity to own this car, check out Chrysler.com. We'll have a full review hopefully soon. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And as always, we'll see you on the next video. All right, Zach, thanks for shooting this.